What's up, Soul Tribe family? You are watching another episode of Soul Seed Conversations, our mental health podcast for resilient humans on the grow. Today is episode 46, and we have our boy Colin joining the Soul Seed. Before we get started, y'all know how we do every single month. This podcast is this once a month. We do announcements before we bring in our people, okay? So I just want to chat with y'all for a little bit. First of all, July marks our 4-year anniversary month, and I am super duper excited. July 21st to be exact. We have something really huge coming on July 21st that you want to not miss, pretty much, okay? So y'all stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and also keep up with us in our email, the VIP Soul Tribe email list, because you get special perks to shop what's new, to figure out what this secret thing that is happening on our anniversary, all the things, okay? We even send out soul notes to keep you encouraged, keep your mental health, in a good spot, because we wax and we wane. It is normal to not be your best self every day, and y'all know that we honor that around here. So if you are new here, my name is Soliel Lindsey. I'm the owner of Soul Rise Essentials, where we offer mental health merch, apparel, accessories for children and for adults, bright colors, positive affirmations, positive sayings on bright color merch to keep your spirits high, okay? We are building a global community of resilient, thriving, healing humans, pretty much all across the world. But we're based right here in Richmond, Virginia. And our podcast is a way that we create community to share stories of resilience, to build on that global community that we just talked about. And for you to discover new ways to thrive via the brave voices of others. As I mentioned earlier, we got Colin King sitting in the soul seat today. Wanted to let y'all know also that we have some new merch. I know that we flipped around right now, but once this gets on YouTube, it's going to be flipped the right way. But we definitely have some new merch. As you know, we have been trademarked for a long time. Our logo and our brand name is trademarked. So when you see that little R right here, that means we are trademarked, okay? Official. So get you some official merch for you and for your children. Trademarked logo affirmation t-shirts on our website, soulriseessentials.com. I am wearing my loved affirmation necklace. I have not taken this thing off since I put it on a few years ago. I absolutely love it, okay? If and when you forget of how loved you are, how known you are, put this on, okay? Y'all know that we have our Soul Tribe affirmation necklaces as well. We also have our resilient affirmation necklaces as well. So if you need those subtle but powerful reminders, our affirmation merch is an easy way to do that. So just head on to our website at soulriseessentials.com. That's SOL riseessentials.com to get your merch, baby. Okay. And if you get on our email list, you will get a 15% discount code. Okay. Why does this podcast exist? We exist to, I already told you that, child. I already told you that. Let's get this podcast started. I think those were the only little things we had to catch up on, because y'all know I only see y'all once a month. But I do have some trigger warnings. We do discuss sensitive topics on this podcast because it's a mental health podcast, child. We get deep, but we have a good time. We are transparent. We honor all emotions over here. So that's exactly what we do. But we do have to let you know that if it's something that is talked about that is triggering to you or makes you feel a little uncomfortable, or you just, you're not there today, you can always pause it. You can always come back. You can always send it to a friend that it may resonate with more. But we just appreciate your support. This is interactive. So if you have comments that you want to make, questions that you want to ask, join in on the conversation. Y'all know clearly I love to talk. So talk back, period. You can find this episode and every other episode from our podcast, Soul Seed Conversations, on YouTube. Just type in either Soul Seed Conversations, that's SOL, seat, like you're sitting in a seat, and then having a conversation with an S. Soul Seed Conversations on YouTube, or you can just type in our brand name, Soul Rise Essentials. Again, that's SOL. Y'all know if you need, I'm serious about my branding, baby. You see it and you see it. Don't play with it. Okay. Although professionals may appear on our podcast, we are simply humans sharing our lived experiences. No medical or professional advice should be taken, and we are not giving it. We're simply having conversations. And lastly, if you have a personal mental health or mental wellness or resilient story to share, definitely email us at mystory@soulriseessentials.com. We would absolutely love to hear from you. So yeah, we're gonna get this thing started. All the casualties and all of that jazz is out of the way. I'm just sending this podcast to a few people so they can join us live. If you are here live, you can send it to others. If you are watching the replay, honey, go ahead and put some sunshine emojis in the comments, and even let us know what your favorite part of the podcast was. All right, Colin. I know that was a lot, but it's your turn, brother. I'm about to add you on up in here. Invite. Yo, what's up?
Hey, Soliel, what's going on?
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm great today. How you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a little hot energy today. Some days I'll be like,
Okay.
I don't know, but today I'm feeling pretty good. I appreciate you
Okay, I
asking.
hope I don't bring it down too much then.
Nah, you good, you good. I want to ask the people in the live, can you guys hear Colin and I at the same level? I feel like I can't hear you. Is your phone turned up all the way?
And my phone is turned up all the way.
All right, mine is too, so I'm gonna rock it out. But I just want to double check with our guests that are live just to make sure we don't do this whole thing and they can't hear one of us. So if y'all can check in the comments, let us know that you can hear us both, and then we will get started. I know you at work, so I ain't gonna keep you too long.
No, we're good.
Okay, all
We got
right, all right.
time. This is work and
Period. That's
and
true. That's
fun.
true. Okay, Cherie says we sound good. Is that wifey?
Yeah, that's my wife, Sherry.
I love that. She was here right after you. It said Colin King joined, and I see Cherise. Thank you for joining us. So, Colin, we are pretty new to each other. We have a very awesome person in common. Shout out to Zico. She was also on our
No doubt.
podcast. That's how I got introduced to you. So before we get into all of that, well, actually, no, I'll let you tell who you are, what you do professionally and personally, because again, this is your personal moment. So just let us know, the Soul Tribe family, who you are.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for the opportunity. I'm excited and a little nervous, but I appreciate the opportunity to just talk about, my journey and my work. I'm a licensed, or I'm on my way to licensure. I'm working to be a licensed clinical social worker. I've been a social worker since about 2019. I work at Health Brigade, which is a free clinic in Richmond, Virginia, and I help run alongside who you just mentioned, Zico Singleton, the needle exchange program. And I've been at Health Brigade since I graduated with MSW. And so most of my work has centered around substance use and supporting people that are in active addiction, whatever that looks like. We can talk a little bit more about the intricacies of the work in a minute, but
Absolutely.
in my personal life, I also do some community work with a local uh, community group called River City that does similar work to Health Brigade, but more in a community setting, like a less nonprofity space. So do some outreach with them and some organizing with them. And like you said, my wife Sherry is on the call, so I'm glad you're here, Sherry.
Oh,
Hi, how are
sorry, I said
you?
Cherie. Sorry,
That's
Sherry.
okay. That's okay, Sherry. And we have a son named Towns and a cat named Oreo or Little Nickel or Moon Pie. He has many names. He's a
I
cat of
love it.
many names. And yeah, I'm a runner. I like to surf. I like to read and watch movies and TVs like everybody else. So yeah, that's me. I use he him pronouns. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for the introduction. I want to rewind a little bit
Okay.
because one thing I think because we do the work that we do, it just sounds like, oh yeah, this is what I do. But I love that you are. I think you co-created. Remind me if I'm wrong. The needle exchange program. Is that true?
So with the community organization, I did some work. I helped found River City with Health Brigade. Health Brigade has been around since about 2018,
Hmm.
and that was more of a statewide legal process. So like needle exchange got introduced and legalized into Virginia in 2017, and then programs started popping up. I think it started with 3 programs in 2018, Health Brigade being one of them. So I didn't have anything to do with the initial legislation or coming up with Health Brigade's program, but have been running it since 2022, I think.
That's
And
awesome. Tell us what that is for people watching, since this is the work that you do. You know what you're saying, but for people who don't have
sure,
any knowledge about it, because it's really fascinating to me, what is the needle exchange program?
sure. So needle exchange, or what is like kind of in the industry called harm reduction program. In Virginia, they're specifically called comprehensive harm reduction programs. Harm reduction is a philosophy and also like a intervention or a way to like address many different things. But in the drug use world, it can look like needle exchange programs where people get safe using supplies, meaning sterile syringes and equipment in order to use safely when people are in active use. It also looks like Narcan, HIV, hepatitis C testing, and harm reduction can also be used in a lot of different ways. I mean, I use harm reduction philosophy and literally what it means, reducing the harms of everyday life, that we kind of see as not being caused by necessarily like individuals making behavioral choices, but by systems that create the conditions that people have to exist in. And then they are kind of forced, their hand is forced into the behaviors that literally cause harm to themselves, to their communities. And so our approach is kind of like an alternative to traditional systems of punishment for drug use. So
Yeah, I
um,
think that's so fascinating. I have some people that work in a similar space that you do that have also been on the podcast. We met each other when I was working for a nonprofit for single parents, but she had just come out of active use and was going through recovery, and now she does peer recovery support, and she is doing a lot of similar work to Zico, where they're, you know, advocating, using their voices, and also helping people still in active addiction. And I think it's so important. Like, this podcast is all about humanizing people. So of course we're talking about you today, but I just want to like make sure that people listening who aren't familiar with the work and why you do what you do understand that these are people too, you know, folks that are in active addiction, and they are humans, and you guys are trying to help them safely exist in the world that they live in right now, which
with
I think is powerful, and it is humanizing people who are suffering with addiction or living
with
with addiction.
without a doubt, and just to like piggyback on that a little bit, the team, I'm really fortunate to work with a team that are our peers, so people with lived experience from mental health or drug use. They have gone through certification to use their lived expertise to connect with people in the community, um, to support people, to model a different pathway for folks. So I think what's really cool working alongside peers is that I think in our personal life sometimes we kind of have this idea with the people that we're around that like some people never change, you know, like some people are. But what I see every day is that I work alongside people that have completely transformed and changed their life every day. So that's something that is giving me a lot of hope in my personal and professional life,
Mm-hmm.
because harm reduction is not social work and social work is not harm reduction. But I think that I use social work to inform how I do harm reduction. I use harm reduction to inform how I do social work. So I've been able to be able to blend and have the privilege to blend those two
Yeah.
things in a way alongside a team of people that come from a different profession that I do.
Absolutely. And everything that you just said ties perfectly into where I want to go next, which is talking more about your personal journey and where you come from and why you even got into this work. I think it's powerful because you could be doing anything, you know, but you are choosing to exist in the space that you exist in. So before we get into all of that, I have different segments that I do here. So the first one, it's just a question, simple question. How is your mental health? And right now in this moment. So rated from 1 to 5. 1 being like, down in the dumps, it ain't really happening for me right now. 5 being, I feel amazing. So where are you at on that scale from 1 to 5 in this moment?
I'm a solid 3 right
Okay.
now. Not too bad, not too great. Like I don't feel like a real high right now, but I feel like grounded and privileged and not like too scatterbrained or whatever. I'm happy to be here. This is really cool just to be able to talk through some of these things, to talk and also like tell my story. It there's a little anxiety in telling my story too, but I'm happy to be here and say, yeah, I'm a solid 3. There's a
Yes.
lot going on in my profession and my personal life and in the world right now that
Yeah.
causes a lot of anxieties, but yeah, I'm a solid 3.
I love that. That's a good place to be. And honestly, on that scale, wherever you at is wherever you at. We ain't trying to change it. It is what
Totally,
it is. But a
totally,
solid 3 is good. I
totally.
appreciate you sharing. And I appreciate you because you were thanking me for allowing you to come on. But thank you for trusting me to come on and share your story. I remember when we did our pre-interview, you were kind of questioning a little bit like, is this the right fit? I'm like, if I asked you, then yes, it's the right fit, you know. Your story deserves to be heard. You have a voice. You don't have to have all these accolades or be, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Without a doubt.
you just regular people. And if you are alive, you matter and your voice deserves to be heard and your story deserves to be shared, especially on this platform where we actually want to listen. So just want to say thank you for sharing all of that. I also answered this question as well. I don't know what it is, but today I didn't turn over a new leaf. I feel like about a 4.5 right now. And if anybody
Oh,
has been
cool.
watching this podcast, regularly each month, baby, I've been down in the dumps for the last couple of months. Like
Okay.
you said, with life just getting heavy, you know, professional side getting heavy, the world getting heavy, and I just won't feeling it, you know.
What do you think that
And
changes?
um, to be quite honest with you, there have been the summertime. I'm gonna just say that the son and me and the son, we go together real bad.
Okay.
And then my
Sold.
son, who's 6 years old, is growing up right before my eyes over the summer, and like we really meshing right now, you know, because
Oh,
as a
that's
single
good.
mom and also a caretaker for my 82-year-old granddad, the days are long, and I repeat myself all day long. And one thing about me, I can't stand repeating myself. But we get
Mhm.
to sleep in. Like today, we slept in until 10 o'clock. That's never happened.
Oh, hell
Never,
yeah.
ever,
That's
ever, ever,
awesome.
ever. So I don't know what it is. He slept. I slept. I feel great. I feel well rested. And you know, the son, and I dropped him off on time. Like I didn't have to rush. Like my life is very busy, so I was able to take my time. So I think that in this moment, that is what has
That's
changed for
great.
me. So
Having a 6-year-old that sleeps in till 10 a.m. is a blessing right
that
there.
shit never
That's
happens,
enough to
honey.
boost something. Yeah.
It never happens. I don't know what it is, but he
Yeah.
slept and let me sleep, and I'm grateful. Who knows when it's going to happen again? So I'm just existing in the summertime right now in a way that I wish my life could be every day, which is we wake up not till 10 o'clock. Like we don't have to sleep in like that every day,
Hmm.
but just so I don't feel rushed and I don't have to put him in the car and feed him before he go get in the car and go to school and all that busy. It just don't
Yeah,
stop.
you
I'm
can take your
existing.
time.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. Simply put, I'm taking my damn
All
time.
right, let's take our time then.
So before we also get into the next portion, I'm sure you're probably familiar with this, but do you practice any type of mindful breathing?
I breathe. I probably don't do it as much as I should. I'm a jogger or a runner, so that is like really my big time to like kind of like reconnect with my body, and I run along the river a lot. Um, but I do some breathing. I've been trying to do this the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing a little bit, where you kind of like hone in on 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear. How does it
Mhm.
go? 3 things you can.
All your senses and all those
Yeah.
numbers, pretty
So
much.
basically, just like kind of like come, just just settling back in to your body. So I've been trying that a little bit, but um, I am not super rooted in mindfulness, like in my personal life or even in my practice. But
Hmm.
I actually have a couple clients now that have taught me some mindfulness, which has been really cool, but also that we've had to do that in sessions that have become really augmented. So I have been like practicing that a little
I
bit,
love
and
that.
when instead of settling into some of my like more maladaptive coping shit that I can do, that I
I
can
get
put
it. I
out,
do a little bit
my
of both,
negative
honey. I
shit.
ain't judging you. So I asked that question because we have a segment here that we call box breathing. So we're going to do that before we get into the story, just to
Okay.
kind of ground us. It's very easy. It's so accessible. I love sharing it on this podcast because I actually have people that reach out to me and be like, yo, I've been doing that and it works. I feel so calm, and it's quick. So all we're going to do is 4 iterations of it. So we're going to breathe in for 4 counts, and then we're going to hold it for 4 counts, and then release for 4 counts. And we're going to
Okay.
do that all over again. That's it. And then we're going to get into it. You ready?
I'm ready.
So just get planted where you are. Put your feet on the ground if you can. Just relax. And then I'm going to count us off. You can close your eyes. Inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold that for 4, 2, 3, 4. Release for 4. One more time. Inhale for 4. And hold. Release. Third one. Inhale. And hold. Release. Last one. Let's make it count. Inhale for 4. And hold. Release. That's it. Easy way to just relax on the spot. Like if you do it right and calmly and like take your time, you feel this immediate relaxation
I
response. How you
do. I
feel?
feel better.
Love that. Hopefully the
I don't
anxiety
know
is
if I'm a
gone away.
4, but I'm getting there.
Well, let's get into it, Colin. You've already kind of explained, like married, 6-year-old. Is your baby still 6, you said?
7. He's
7
7.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, they were 6 when we did this
Yep.
interview.
Yep.
You talked about your social work, and you being from a small city. Let's get into it. How did you grow up, and where did you grow up?
So I grew up in a little place called Fincastle, Virginia. It's in Botetourt County, which is near Roanoke, Virginia. So the western part of the state.
What's it called again?
Uh, Fincastle is the town.
Thin Castle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can you
Why
hear
you
me
say
all
it
right?
like that?
You're breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me good?
Oh, man, hold up. Yeah, I can hear you. Let me try
Okay.
something real quick. Hold on. The first time that I broke up?
Okay. You're back. I'm
Is
sorry.
this
What'd you say?
better?
I think so,
Is that
yeah.
the first time? Was that the first time that I broke up?
Yeah, it just like a stutter. I don't know if it's on my end or what. Hold on one second.
Okay. No, I had saw your face. I said, why you say it like that when I asked you to repeat where you were from?
Oh man.
Can you
We
hear
good
me?
now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can
cool.
y'all see and
Sorry.
hear us in the comments? I turned my Wi-Fi off.
I did too.
But now
I
you
don't know.
look pixelated to me. How does he look to y'all? He looks pixelated to me.
I'm
Let's
so
see.
sorry. Let me see if I can reconnect to Health Brigade. I don't know. I had.
Let's see what they say real quick. Because it might be fine for them. What up, Zico? We're trying to get these tech issues solved real quick. And then we're going to keep going.
How
Can
about
y'all
now?
see and hear me? Zico joined. I don't know if you heard that part.
Hey Zico.
All right. Thorn said they can hear us. Do we look good? Do we look pixelated? And I'll edit this out too for YouTube, so don't worry about this part. A
I'm
little
sorry,
pixely.
Soleil.
We sound and look good, y'all. Let us know before we continue. Let's see if we need to. I think he done went out. Let us know in the comments, y'all, how we sound and how we look. Oh, she said it's a little pixely. Okay, who's a little pixely? Is it me or him or both of us? Child, don't we love technology? A little pixelated for both of us or just for one of us? Who is it? Colin. Okay. So Colin, you back. We can hear you.
Okay.
Let's see what this is giving.
Can we hear this? Are we
Yeah, we
good?
can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
What are you connected back to Wi-Fi? Can you hear me? Uh-oh, he went out again. Audio is great. Okay, wonderful. Okay, we can
Okay.
hear you, Colin.
Okay, I'm sorry. I might just have to stay pixelated. It's not connecting me to Wi-Fi, so
Okay, let's roll with it. So
okay.
where I was asking you to say the town you were from again, and then you made this face. I was like, why did you look like that when you said it? So that's where we were.
No, you were like going out, like you there was like a stutter. But I'm from
Oh, okay.
Fincastle, which is just like a small town in rural Western Virginia. Um, I grew up like out in the sticks. My parents built the log cabin that I grew up in. My dad like built it. So real country, real rural. You know, pretty conservative. Um,
What does that mean when y'all say that, honey? What does that mean specifically?
I think it means specifically like Republican, uh, um, pretty antiquated thinking. Definitely a lot of the isms that you hear often in your day to day life,
Hmm.
racism, sexism, uh, homophobia, um, transphobia, and it's just kind of more um, kind of standardized and accepted in those settings.
Hmm.
I grew up in a very white space, um, and I grew up religious. I grew up in the church, and you know, when we first had our conversation, you kind of asked me of kind of like my backstory and why I got into what I can do. And I think one of the biggest things that I can think about that kind of inspired me when I look back in my life is I went to an Episcopalian church. I went every week. Um, was never like fully like on board or super like saved or anything like that, but found a good community there. And the minister that I grew up with, he actually got kicked out of our church because he decided to strike with the coal miners in Western Virginia, and he was on the picket line in front of the bulldozers and stuff, and he got arrested on site. And after that happened, the church decided to kick him out,
Wow.
despite his kind of standing with the poor folk from where we were from and stuff. So I
Hmm.
always kind of look back at that as something that was like really pivotal for me and kind of inspired me even from a young age, but I think especially in reflection from that time.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Interesting. And this, just to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying thin, like thin line castle?
Fincastle, Fin.
Oh, Finn. Okay, I've never heard of that. Okay,
Hmm.
cool. Yeah, I'm so glad you shared that story and that you remembered that question that I asked you because I'm like, where you grew up. Like I always say, and forgive me if it's just like too straightforward, but that's just how I am. Not trying to be offensive,
No,
but
no, I appreciate the question.
like I always look at people like you, like the one who got out and started to see the world, and like I'm like, y'all are our heroes, just a community in general. I love that, like that you were brave enough to do that, and I know it's not an easy thing to do because we love our families, but when we step out and we do something a little bit different, it can be taken in a way that is not very personal. It's just like this what I want to do, like I love
Yeah.
y'all, but so commend you on that. What has that process been like for you?
It's been awesome. I think a lot of that is like going back to kind of like the title and the little blurb of our talk is like, that's a privilege too. I went to school and lived in a space where I was always encouraged to go to college, and that was the expectation. You know what I mean? That wasn't like a question of like, are you going to be able to go to college? That was the expectation. So when I had the opportunity to do that, I did want to get out of the countryside, and I came to Richmond. That's when I came to Richmond in 2003, and I've never left. But some of that was to um, to get out of the environment that I felt boxed in around, that I didn't feel comfortable in, that I didn't always feel safe in, to be perfectly honest. So, and
Albeit it's a
and
beautiful place, because I remember
with
you saying how beautiful it is there.
without a doubt, and I also don't want to. I want to be careful about like these kind of characterizations of certain places, that they're all homogenous.
Hmm.
You know, I came from a very white space, but there's people that come from all different ideas and places in the world, have different ideologies, have different politics, and also have different movements that also inspired me and stuff like that. So,
Absolutely.
you know, just like we label certain populations a monolith, neither
Hmm.
is the space that I came from either.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. And I also tell people too that, like, and I'm sure you've heard this before, multiple truths that seemingly go opposite from each other can be true at the same time. And all you
Without
are
a doubt.
saying is what you're saying. You're not saying what you're not saying. You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt.
Um, so I would also love for you to talk a little bit about your parents, because they were social workers, right? Or no,
My
teachers?
my my mom got was a social worker by training, and then they were both teachers for kids that live with disabilities.
That is so dope.
Yeah, so I grew up going to my dad's classroom a lot, especially. He taught kids with severe disabilities, lots of kids that had that couldn't move without a wheelchair, couldn't talk without technology that assisted them.
Why
And
does that
that,
remind me of that documentary on Netflix? Did you see that?
I don't know what you're talking about. Which
The
documentary?
one where it was like, the name of it is Tell Them You Love Me. Have you seen that? I don't know why it just popped in my head.
Oh
You got to go
yeah,
watch that, and we
yeah.
got to
No,
talk
I
about it
have
after you
seen
watch.
that.
That shit is crazy. I don't know why that
That
popped in my
is
head when you said that, but that's
no, that
pretty
shit's
awesome, because
crazy.
the work that they were doing was phenomenal.
Right, without a doubt.
Like, that's awesome. That takes
None
me.
of that narrative applies to the work that my parents were doing, but
Yeah,
similar work. And
yeah.
my dad was actually technology was kind of his thing, so he'd go to these conferences and try to bring back technology into these rural areas to kind of help assist people that live
That's
with
dope.
disabilities. So
I really got to see people with disabilities in a whole new light based on what I learned in that documentary and the technology side of it, how they actually feel but just can't emote or say it. That was powerful.
yeah, without doubt,
Yeah,
without
great,
doubt.
great work that your
So
parents
so
did.
so I so I think more so than I gave them credit for earlier on. I've definitely started to realize what an impact that work had on me. There's aspects of that I take with me, and aspects of that I also am mindful of, that how things have changed over time, um, especially in quote unquote social work or teaching, or what we call like helping professions, or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
When you came to Richmond, Virginia, you said that was for school. Did you say the name of the school you went to?
I went to VCU.
Okay. So for
Yeah,
those watching that are not in Virginia, VCU then took over our whole city. I was about to say Virginia Credit, Virginia Commonwealth
basically,
University.
yeah, not far away.
It's, that's where Colin went to school. Great university. Tell me more about when you got to Richmond. Is that when you started to bartend and like realize that you were like a natural connector?
So I went to school the first time in 2003 to 2007. Um, didn't have a lot of focus, or like wasn't career minded at the time. Did a lot of odd jobs. I wasn't bartending at the time. Um, didn't have a lot of direction or passion, or professional kind of mindset. I did some carpentry work for a while, landscape for a while, just to learn some different skills and make some money. And it really wasn't until I started bartending a few years after I graduated, because the industries that I was in were not paying the bills. I wasn't making rent, so I started bartending on the side to make some extra money. And working in the service industry is like a really good way to make money fast. So I kind of got hooked in there for about 10 years. And it's also an industry that takes a toll on you after a while. You know, just the social aspect of it, the partying aspect of it. And so there was a time about 10 years in that I just couldn't do it anymore. And I was looking for something different. I was looking for something that was more sustainable for me personally, that I didn't have to be up until 3 o'clock in the morning and socially exhausted all the time. And also something that I could use some of the skills that I felt like I had socially in a more meaningful context. I still bartend on Sundays. This is no shade. Lots of friends in the service industry. It's a great way to make a living. That is not it. Just
I
for me
bartend
personally.
on the side, so
Yeah,
I know.
and I love it. I love to do it once a week, but I can't do it more than that anymore.
Yeah.
It's draining for me personally, and I had to find a different pathway, and also just like a different income. And so that's when I went back to school.
Yeah. So you were at VCU, and oh, I had a question for you too. What was it about your upbringing that made you so community driven?
You know, that's a really good question. I think that's something that really goes back to the church, really. Um, I don't think I gave it enough credit because I wasn't super religious, even being involved in the church. But church was definitely a community for me, and in that I was in the youth group. We had to do a lot of service projects. The youth group was very service oriented, so volunteering in soup kitchens, making meals for the community, um, picking up trash, cleaning up neighborhoods, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, you know, when I think back, something that kind of politicized me even at a young age when I was in high school and after September 11th when we invaded um, Iraq and Afghanistan. Me and some friends started a Amnesty chapter, Amnesty International chapter in our school
Mm.
to kind of do some education and do some organizing around some anti-war efforts. And I think that's something that a teacher that I had there that really kind of influenced me to think outside of the box. Because also when you come from these certain areas, when we say more conservative, that's also this kind of like blind patriotism, this blind militarism that's kind of baked into that that kind of just ideology of the world, America
Mm-hmm.
first,
That's why
um,
when you said conservative, like, can you describe that for your situation? Because I feel like people use it and just be trying to bake in a whole lot of stuff. Like, what you talking
without a
about?
doubt, without a doubt. And I think that was literally part of it. We actually had this like very maybe not well thought out campaign where we actually posted posters all throughout the school without permission that was of some of the effects of war, some of the birth defects that happened because of some of the bombing, some of the effects, the devastation in these places in Iraq and Afghanistan. And there was a patriot group that started in opposition to us, and
Mm.
they ripped down all our posters and put up their own posters. So I think that you know, it seems silly. It's like high school and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think that
But
was
people
something
remember what
that,
happened. That was some revolutionary shit.
yeah.
Okay.
I remember one of them actually came in with a stick with like a spear with Osama bin Laden's like effigy, his head on a spear into our school. So
Oh yeah, y'all was
um,
wild out.
yeah. So that was just something that, you know, I don't really. I was a baby, didn't know exactly what I was doing, but just
Hmm.
wanted to be a part of a different conversation.
And just so you know, like I do feel like the work that y'all do is revolutionary, and because we are parents now, you are partner now, like it just looks a different way. Like, you know, you did what you did back in high school, back in college, and I want people to realize that we all have a part to play in society, in our communities, and in the world. And it doesn't mean that you are on the main stage. You know, we all focus on, not all of us, but there are a lot of people focus on being in the limelight. But it's like the janitor got a job to do too and clean up all this shit, all this mess that y'all done made. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever think that your voice and your story and the work that you do is not important, because it absolutely is. So just want
Without
to
a
share.
doubt. And I appreciate you saying that. And I think that, a lot of times when we do these things when we're young, we don't have like the knowledge or the vocabulary to talk about what we're saying, and that the complete dehumanization that we see of like non-white bodies, of brown and black folks and people across the world. And I think that there was this real sense between me and the people that organized that it just wasn't okay. But I don't think that we didn't have a lot of examples of like how to talk about that,
Yeah.
or how to say it, or what to do in the context that we're in. That I have a better or broader, or hopefully broader understanding of now.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about, I always have wanted to ask a white person this, so this is great. I'm excited. When you are at like the Thanksgiving functions or with your friends, and you hanging out with their families that may still have this archaic type of thinking that is very harmful to the community, you as a person that has, transformed your mind, and this is the work that you do, how do you address those moments? And do you address those moments?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think in my perspective, it's, when you're somebody who has built relationships and built connection and care for this broad range of community, and you go back to these dinner tables where there is like violent, dehumanizing conversations about the communities that you've connected with, that you care about, and the work, the communities that you serve. It is really your duty, and I think it's tough because there is a few options there, right? Like you can lean in, you can ruin Thanksgiving for the folks around you, is what. So there's a lot of like gaslighting around that. But yeah, I mean, you pick and choose. I'm not going to say that I've leaned into every single battle that is presented, but in general, that's something that I typically lean into. I've had a lot of conversations that have not ended well. You know what I mean? But I think for me is understanding that I'm not immune from some of those thinking, some of that thinking, and I've had the privilege to be able to like unlearn some of the things that I've thought for a long time or been taught. And so it's a broader thing, and when we're in those spaces, I think our first reaction, especially as like like white liberals or whatever, is to be like, oh, you're over there and I'm over here, and I'm not connected to this racist thinking. But I'm somebody that's been very privileged by the world that we live in, that relies on some of these antiquated thinkings to give certain people privilege. And I've been privileged by that. So I think having like real conversations about and being vulnerable to that is important. And when I have these conversations in predominantly white spaces that are dehumanizing to other folks.
It's the transparency for me, because you could have easily sat there on a high horse and been like, oh, I don't think like that, or I don't ever come in contact with having to say, you know what, you actually do benefit from this way of life, this way of thinking, or even just saying, I'd be having to check myself. You could have easily sat there and denied all of that. And so I do appreciate that. And I want to say thank you, because it's not just Black and brown people that you're speaking up against. Like you said, it's transphobia, all these other things as well. And even people in addiction, like the way we look at people, that are in active addiction, it's a little sad sometimes. So that's why I wanted us to talk more about the harm reduction program that you help lead over there, because it's people we're not here to change anybody's minds, but I'm trying to educate people through this platform so that hopefully find it in their hearts. If they don't, that's on them. But to humanize people in
Without doubt.
whatever pathway they choose or find themselves in at the time, or just are born into as well. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
No, without a doubt. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on it.
Absolutely. So I know that after VCU, and we'll probably get more into those conversations too, but after VCU, you interned at Health Brigade and now you work there. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah,
So
it's
why
nice
is this
actually.
what you say?
It was just a nice transition to be like to have unpaid labor into getting some money for it.
Yes. Did I say high school or college just now? What did I say?
I think you said internship in college. I don't know.
Okay, child.
Internship in college.
My brain be moving so quick. I'm like,
It's
did I
all
just
good.
say high school? I love that. I absolutely love that. What do you have to say about any of the other professions that you could have chosen? Because you like college was the expectation. You could have went to school for not anything. There's a lot of stuff that's really expensive, but why choose this work? I think I know what you're gonna say, but I can't assume it's your story. Hey, Mrs. Green, thank you so much.
Hey, Miss Green. Yeah, I don't.
Caveat to that question, not a caveat, but an addition. We
Sure.
all know that people working for nonprofits ain't going home with the bank all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Without doubt.
which is why we probably still bartending on the side. You know what I mean?
Without doubt.
Could have chose anything.
Um, so I think the one of the answers is like, I saw social work as a skill set of being able to like connect with other people, being able to connect with people of different experience than me, and try to learn from that. Try to I looked forward to help like also like understanding like broader systems of like how the world operates. That's like super important, and I think that's one of the aspects of social work that is something that when I also supervise interns here at Health Brigade. So that's something that we talk about a
Full
lot.
circle.
Yeah. So we talk about that a lot of one of the main goals of social work is to understand our self system so we can teach that to people that society has intentionally like not given that knowledge, right? It's up to us to know how to fill out these forms, to understand how Medicaid works, to understand how to get through DSS and the kind of like humiliation that people have to go through these systems. In my work a lot, it's understanding treatment systems. So understanding how the Richmond treatment system works to make those connections. So I have somebody that I can call when somebody says, "Hey, I'm ready for treatment." We have numbers on our team. Me and Zico work really hard to make those connections because we're there for needles and Narcan, but what happens when somebody is ready to do something else? So, I think for me, social work was just something that maybe I was kind of like running from for a little bit, that I thought, maybe I'd do something different,
Yeah.
but I came back to like, it was a skill set. And also at the time I was just so burnt out on doing service industry work. Like, I don't care if your eggs came out bad. I just don't give a fuck. I didn't cook them. I didn't, like,
There are
so,
important matters in the world, okay?
and, you know, I, I think I just wanted to use some of the same skill sets. And, a lot of people said, well, oh, that's a natural transition from a bartender to social work. It isn't, there's some social skills involved, but like, bartending and serving people drinks is completely different than
What
talking
did
about
you go
people's
to school
trauma.
for?
So I have a MSW. I have a master's in social
You
work.
said that. Okay, so that
Yeah,
is it was in line with what you went to college for anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. You said something earlier that I wanted to go back to because it's something that I find myself having to talk to people about when they ask me. As soon as I say the word mental health, people stop listening when they say, "What do you do?" And they just automatically assume that I'm a clinician or a therapist or a counselor. And I'm like, no, ma'am, I am just a mental health advocate because this is my lived experience. I went through
Right.
X, Y, and Z. I didn't go to school for anything social work related or mental health related, but I am a nerd and I nerd out over it. I follow all of the neuroscientists and I'm obsessed with it. And I probably could have
Yeah.
gone to school for it, but my lived experience, my research, and even these stories, talking with people, folks coming on a podcast, sharing their stories about schizophrenia and bipolar 1 and bipolar 2, like this is their lived experience. I can read
Without a
books
doubt.
about all of that shit. But if I meet one person with ADHD or schizophrenia, I don't know them all. So I feel like what people are sharing with me also counts as knowledge and information and things that I could also share with folks about people with these different mental health diagnoses. So I always tell people, no, I am not a therapist. I said that I was a mental health advocate and a speaker, and I share my own story as it pertains to mental health, mental wellness, transformation, change, thought processes. Because I'm doing all that work and I've done it. But someone said to me, well, don't you think you should go to school for X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, I'm friends with therapists. Like I have therapists come on my podcast. I partner with therapists. I'm not saying I know everything, but they honor my lived experience. You know what I'm saying? So if I do go to school for something, I doubt it will be for, I don't want to go to school, quite frankly.
Right. Right.
And I
You
love the
already do
fact,
that work in another sense.
yeah, I can do that work in another, and this is a path that I feel God has laid out for me, my experiences, my personality, my connections. And
Without
I
a
know
doubt.
I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm saying all that to say that people really discount lived experience.
Without
The
a doubt.
most passionate person that, and I can't speak for you, but for me, that I know doing the work similar to what you do is Zico Singleton. Like I have seen her in her work, and I don't work with her, so I don't know all that she's doing, but I know she's thorough. I know that people don't probably like what she has to say all the time, but it needs to be said. And then I've also seen her in active addiction. So to see her come out and be so passionate about what she's doing is because she's lived it. So for someone, I know you in school and all of that stuff too, Zico, but for somebody to say, well, she doesn't have this or this accolade or blah blah blah, that's not always required, and we can't always overlook people who've actually lived what people are in school studying. So I want you to speak to that, why you
Sure.
feel, because you although we also all have our own personal struggles and vices, the people that you serve, you've not necessarily walked in their shoes, but you are there to help them, to understand them, to make them sane, to give them resources. um but you ain't talking for them. Like it's a point where you have to let them speak for themselves.
For
So
sure.
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's no, I appreciate that. I mean, the first thing that I'll say is like, to some of the things that you're saying about, doing this podcast, having the lived experience. We oftentimes say that like, everybody needs therapy. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. Like everybody should have access to therapy. Like not just certain people should have access to therapy. Everyone should have access to therapy. But I think that everybody needs connection. So like,
Yes.
this podcast could be, and it is to me right now in this moment, being able to like verbalize this stuff and think about it. Like a lot of times we just like hold these thoughts in our head, and we have to like get them out to even understand what the things that we're thinking.
And I
And
want to pause real quick. Please hold that thought, because Mrs. Green is a woman that is in a different generation, was born before us, and comes back consistently to learn. I don't want to put your age out there, but I'm in my 30s. How you in your what, Colin?
I just turned 40.
You in your
I'm in
40s,
the
happy
club.
40. She up there. She older than us, but comes back consistently. And she's not the only one in a different age group than us to learn. So I
Right.
love that. But keep going.
So so I think that it's just important to like put that out there, because I think that we always think that that overcoming some of these things has to come from professional spaces, and that's not always the case. In fact, for a lot of folks that don't have access to fair, equitable, safe, professional spaces, they have to rely on their community. So that's where they go, and that's where they find transformation.
Yes.
So I struggle with this a lot, because I think that it's that credentials are important, that if
Yes.
you are providing a certain service, that you have done the right
Absolutely.
training
Never
for
taken
it.
away from that. Yep.
And I think that can be true, while also there has been a lot of gatekeeping in those spaces to hold certain people out. Those spaces are traditionally white. They rely on a lot of research and practice that has been happened over time, from like the early 1900s or before, that is very racist, very homophobic, very misogynist, very transphobic. So I think those things we can hold space for both those things at the same time.
Absolutely.
So for me, in my professional work, especially at like getting my license, it's important for me because I can open my own practice. I can provide care for the folks that I think deserve it. But I'm also like critical of the pathway and even of my own profession. Social work does not have it doesn't have a great history. It's a lot of saviorism. It's a lot of white saviorism, a lot of colonialism involved in it. And then I think, so to kind of go back to, Zico and the team that I work with, I have a lot of skills that I bring to the table, and I try to utilize to make Health Brigade's needle exchange program accessible and vibrant and creative. But I work with a team of people with lived expertise that very kindly challenge me all the time. I make a lot of missteps. And I just feel so fortunate that we have people that are being paid to be in this space to help the communities that they came from in a way that I could never even pretend to be able to connect with.
Yeah.
And also, all that being said, for me, as somebody that doesn't come from certain experiences, I'm going to be interacting with a lot of people that I don't have their experience with. And I have to pull from my own humanity and my own experiences, my own pain, my own, sense of low self-worth, or that I'm not good enough. Those experiences of joy, those experiences of utter humiliation that I've had in my life, to connect with people in the moments with whatever they're presenting. So though I might not have ever experienced racism in the way that somebody that I'm working with, a Black person that I'm working with, I can try to connect to some of those feelings in a different way through our shared humanity. And that's not to put me on the same plane or that's not it. It's about finding connection in order to kind of to heal, to help people navigate their own emotionality, which is really complex. It's something that I'm still trying to work on.
Absolutely. You just said all the things. That is exactly why I do the work. And I love that it sounds like why you do your work. And it's not to put ourselves on a pedestal to say, hey, I'm a savior. Listen to me. Look at me. We are digging deep inside to reach our humanity. Remember that in the work that we do, and see that in other people. You need people like that in nonprofits, because you would think people who work in the nonprofit space are there for the same reasons, to help the community, but that's not always the case. So I love that you are honoring your humanity and saying that this is where I come from, this is where I want to be. Hey, I haven't experienced that, but I can try to find some type of empathy and just quiet my mind and figure out how would I feel if every time I went to go do X, Y, Z, a door was slammed in my face because of my addiction status or because of my color of my skin. Everybody has the capacity to do that shit. It's just I don't want to use the word capacity, but the ability. It's just if you
Yeah.
choose to do it or not. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I
So
think
shout out to
capacity
you
isn't a
for,
bad word. I think that might be the right word.
yeah, like it's just, do you want to do it? You know what I'm saying? There's a choice that you can make here. You've made that choice. And I get so emotional thinking about like these conversations that I have, because I truly do believe that this is part of the healing. I don't need to go stand on a rooftop and try to convince people. Like, your heart was open, my heart was open, and let's just have this conversation. Let's highlight you, your personal journey, your professional journey, so people can actively see, physically see, that there are people out here doing this work in support of them that don't necessarily look like them or live like them. That to me is healing. I love that.
Without a doubt. And I think it, something that I've really learned through just actually doing the work is, I think one of the biggest things for me is yeah, humility, like understanding that I might not completely understand where somebody's coming from
Mm-hmm.
in like a really lived, visceral kind of way. Um, but sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit.
Happens to me all the time.
So
I was talking
humility,
about
but I guess like intentionality, like it's not just about connection. It's also that I have to be aware of, yes, the privilege, but also like the body that I inhabit and how that might impact others just by, being around them or what I look like.
absolutely.
I do needle exchange a lot out in the community, and there was a time period where, everybody just thought I was an undercover cop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what is this white dude doing in my community? And I just had to kind of find a way to keep on showing up to build trust with the folks.
That's it.
Show them that I was a trustworthy person. And that was for them to decide, not for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not for me.
Yes.
So there's an intentionality that I'm still learning. I don't have it all figured out. I still
And I think a
overstep,
lot of white people need to know when to get out the way. Like, don't
without a
be
doubt.
offended that this person
Without a
don't
doubt.
trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like that super savior. And that could apply to so many people, but based on this conversation we're talking about right now, don't be offended that this black person or brown
Yeah.
person don't trust you.
Yeah.
You know what
Or
I'm saying?
or learn to manage your own feelings, and that's something that I'm still working on. That is something
Mm-hmm.
that I still struggle with,
Because you
is
human.
like okay, have those feelings, but that's not for somebody else to deal with. That's for you to deal with, or to go to someone that it is to deal with to kind of work through that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. That's important for me to do, to continue to work in an intentional way. Having feelings isn't the problem. It's what you do with those feelings that, and I continue to make missteps. I continue to learn from my mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no perfection isn't the goal. It's
Mm-mm.
just to do better.
That's it. Listen, if I know anything about Zico, I know she be over there, look, checking, okay? Because that's what we gonna do. It's just a way that we look out for each other. And if we don't have people in our lives, personally and professionally, that can check us when we misstep out of love, call us up in love, then we need to get some different people around us. So
I mean, I would specifically name Zico as someone who has shown me a lot of grace, has yeah, checked me, but like I have so many people in my life that have um, educated me, taught me things, pulled me up, stopped me. I'm gonna stop you right there. Um, and with love, that I'm just so grateful that I have even been given that opportunity, and that I have been able to like build trust with somebody to show them that I can change, I can do better, I can learn, that I have the ability to cause harm, and I also have the ability to repair.
mm-hmm. And shout out to you for putting yourself in that space and a new lifestyle, even to be able to do that. We love the people who gave us life, and we'll always respect and cherish that and spend time with them. But honoring where you are now to even be in a space to have these uncomfortable as conversations is very commendable. I'm going to read a couple comments. Mrs. Green said, I'm 63 and always learning. Never discount a person's lived experience. And she says, also, this podcast is therapy for so many people. Oh my gosh, I love that.
That's awesome.
She says, I love what he just said about humanity. Zeke on top of some clock it. I'm weak. I love it. I love it. So I also wanted to chat with you about kind of where we are right now, where you are in your life. I have some notes down here that, you know, your work is really about reckoning with old systems, and that you also share that you know, even as a human, you know, you experience depression and anxiety and other things just like everybody else. And even though, like you said, bartending can be taxing in the environment that you were in, also the work that you do can be very taxing. The things that you have to experience, the conversations that you have to experience. I was at, shout out to St. Luke Legacy Center. This week is Legacy Week for them. Yesterday was Wellness Wednesday. And so I'm a sponsor for that event this year. And we were at Wellness Wednesday. They were doing, if you don't know who they are, y'all got to get connected with Corinne Carter and Nikki Shaw. They own St. Luke Legacy Center, and they do community acupuncture in Jackson Ward. And I experienced that yesterday for free. They do it every fourth Monday. Go check out their website. But even stuff like that, like being around Black people who love the community, who own a building that Maggie Lena Walker used to own right in Jackson Ward. Jackson Ward is a place that many Black people don't even want to go to, child, because it could get rough out there. But to be in that healing space where they're offering so many modalities, whether it be therapy, whether it be Reiki, they got stretch massage, Thai massage, and community. All of those things aren't free, but they do offer free acupuncture. And I experienced that for the first time yesterday. It was mind-blowing, and I didn't have to pay a dime. But I don't know why I brought them people up, child. I forgot why I was
What was
going
acupuncture
with that,
like? Was it cool?
It was amazing. It was like magic. Oh, it was amazing. So if y'all get a chance, Google St. Luke Legacy Center. If you want to try acupuncture, community acupuncture, go and do it because it's amazing. One of the owners of the Legacy Center said that it changed her life. Like she got into these multiple car crashes back to back, and it changed her life. I forgot why I brought that shit up, but we were talking about your humanity.
Where I am in my life. That's what
That's why I was going, why the hell I brought that up, child?
I don't know. Because that's what you did yesterday. That's where you were. You did acupuncture yesterday, and it felt good. And that's probably why you're at a 4.5. Yes, honey. Maybe. Honestly, maybe. That was supposed to kind of just something I was going to say. Maybe it'll come back. Anyway, I want you to talk about your okay, hold on. It's coming back. I was talking about how, nope, I thought it was coming back. Anyway, talk to us about where you are personally and how you're coping with this. Oh, hold on. I got it. I got it. Okay. I was there and I was talking to the demon yesterday. And this is with oh no, you're breaking up on my end. Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry. You broke up for a minute.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right, cool. Now I know why I brought that up. I met this woman at the event yesterday, and poor thing, I knew her whole life story within like 5 minutes. And so I'm bringing that up because that population that you're working with, I'm sure that those types of things happen all the time. You got to go home to your family and you dealing with your personal things, all of the things that can also create some little burnout too. So talk about, show us your humanity personally, where you are right now, how you're coping through it.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think we are living in this super in-your-face world that's happening right now that's like, you know, you wake up sometimes and it feels like you're in a fictional setting, and it's like, and it's like theater, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of the point. We live in this world where it's supposed to kind of desensitize you and seem like theater, seem surreal in a way, but we know that it is directly impacting and actuating violence on people on a daily basis. I can't tell you how many days me and Zico just kind of like sit up in that office and just like, just kind of shoot the shit and support each other. And I do that. Luckily I have a good community, and, I'm a pretty social person. I have friends that I'm able to like process this shit with and support through. So like, I think for everyone, even if, whether your work is, work is work. Work is exhausting. Work is humiliating for whoever you are. I don't think, I truly believe that I'm not, like, social workers aren't saviors. Social workers aren't, we have, we go to work just like everybody else. And, yes, there are things that I take home with me every day. There's people that I see on a weekly basis that I really care about, that I worry about even when I'm not at work. I think about them all the time. I text with them after work. But I think I luckily work on a team with peers, and people in doing peer work, and people in long-term recovery have to set up really, really firm boundaries around themselves to get by, to survive, to maintain their recovery, to maintain their health, to maintain their joy and happiness. And that's something that I've been challenged to do by the team I work in, but I'm also expected to do, because if you go outside of your bounds and the rest of the team are not, that reflects on the people you work with. So you also have to be mindful of how you're showing up too. And a lot of people, like, we have these ideals writ large in our society that, like, working hard is like, oh, what a hard worker. That's like, and I have that philosophy in me. Like, even, you gotta work hard, but I think especially when we're working in the work that we do, we have to be really intentional about that, about how we are caring for one another, and how we are also like resting in order to perpetuate um and make sure that the work that we do is sustainable, and that we're sustainable.
Yes.
Because and I am still working on that. I'm still working on that. I don't pretend to have the best boundaries, and I think that they're porous. You know what I mean? I think anybody that working in these fields has some sort of, they go to bat a little bit too much but you also have to be like just really mindful of that and how that impacts other people.
Yeah,
Too.
that's good. That's so
and
good.
and also that kind of mentality of hardworking, or that you can hard work someone into to save them, it's just false. You can't. That's not how it works.
No, no. I love that. I know that you also share with me that you're now a caretaker for your dad who has Parkinson's. So I would love for you. That's an add-on,
Yeah.
to everything that you have going on. Is there anything else you want to share about that?
Yeah, I have to say that my mom is the primary caretaker. She is with him all the time. I have definitely become more and more of a caretaker. Along with my wife, Sherry's been amazing with my dad. Um, he comes to work with me, comes to the house with me, just comes and hangs out.
That's
Um,
awesome.
he's 78. He's lived with Parkinson's for 13 years, and it's it's impacted him a lot more in the last couple years. Um, and it really just like affects the quality of his life physically and mentally. I'd say it's almost taken a more of a mental role. So like, a lot of the caretaking that I've been doing is just like talking to him, encouraging him to just like talk about the shit that's going on, because as we age and as our bodies change, that can lead to all sorts of dark places. And I just want him to be able to still find like joy and love and purpose even in old age, and know And this thing that especially men do that are, my dad was a very physical, like he built the house that I grew up in. So he's a very physical, hands-on person. When you lose that ability,
Yeah.
you kind of feel like your purpose is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do we help people like shift purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Because he has a lot to offer, and so does my mom. And my mom has a lot to offer outside of caretaking. She's not just a caretaker for my dad.
That's right.
She's like a teacher, um, and she helps take care of my kid. She loves history. You know what I mean? She's a
Mm-hmm.
vibrant person outside of just that very traditional gender role of caretaking. So,
Absolutely.
and that's something that I probably don't give enough credit, is like how much of a caretaker my mama is and how much I've learned from that. So
Yeah, that is not an easy thing. It is very hard.
without a doubt, I know you're going through it too.
Yeah.
Your
So I'm
grandfather
sending
live
love.
with
I want
you?
to send love to your parents
Oh,
and
thank
thank
you.
them for all they do, thank them for who they are and for raising such a great human being.
Oh,
So
thank you.
definitely want to,
I'm gonna relate that to them.
yes,
Thank you for that.
absolutely. Well, we are catching up on the podcast. I want to thank you for just being here and sharing space and creating a great conversation. I know people watching the replay are really going to gain something from this. Again, if you're watching the replay, put some sunshine emojis at the bottom and also to let us know that you watched the whole thing. Is there anything else that you want to add to this podcast, Colin?
No, I think we talked about it a lot. I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate your work. You know, I have learned so much from just working with so many different people from different experiences, from different professions, from different um, we talk about professional expertise versus lived expertise, and then those kind of crossovers. So like, I think spaces like this are so important. When we say everybody needs professional help, people need this too. And I think that this is nice for me because it grounds me in the fact that, yeah, I have skills, yeah, I have professional training, and that's really important. But like, in the end, we're all working towards like a greater connection and humanity that a lot of times professions seem to lose,
Mm-hmm.
or they kind of like do this math where, well, we can have humanity over here, but we got to take some humanity from over here to get this, and it ends up in all kinds of toxic and antiquated and really fucked up ways. So anyways, I appreciate the space. I appreciate the work you do, because it is work. You put a lot of time and effort into this, so I appreciate you a lot too. So like, thank you
Yes,
for
thank
that.
you. And thank you for saying yes, my friend. I appreciate you. Lastly, I forgot to mention this earlier because I be calling myself a runner, child. I ain't no runner because when I start running with the runners, honey, I be out of breath, okay? But I want to see, I've been wanting to do this for like the last 2 years. I don't know if you've heard of Run Richmond 1619. I think that's what it's
Yeah,
called. Thank you so much, Thorn. They said, thank you so much for this. You're both wonderful humans. I appreciate that. Thank you for sticking with us. Um, you have heard of that?
I have. Yeah,
Have
we
you
talked
done
about
it?
it last time. You said you were gonna run it this time.
Child, I said that. I don't know. I mean, okay, so I've definitely built up my stamina for running. I
Okay,
will say that. I can do about 15 minutes without stopping now, but it's been a
that's what's
while. I
up.
don't know. But I'm still gonna do it. I probably did say that shit. But I don't know. I'm going to be there. I want to put a team together. I think it's happening next month. I want to put a team together, and then everybody gonna have on like the little, I'm gonna make some cool little running racer joints. I can't talk with some stuff for Soul Rise on there, but I want to put a team together. So if it's anybody interested and available, go to the website. It's the Jamon Onsun Foundation. What is that race called? Run Richmond 1619, right?
I think so.
Yeah, look that up. I want to put a team together. If you free, I want you to come on my
Okay.
team, your friends, my friends, and look, if it's people that want to run, y'all go run. If it's people who want to walk, y'all go walk. And
Okay.
I might do a run walk
I
situation,
don't
but I would
do a
love to
lot
do
of
that.
I don't do a lot of organized runs, but I
Yeah.
would love to do that. I'd love to be on your team. So let's set it
Thank
up.
you. Because it's for what we just talked about. It's like
Without a doubt.
reconciliation, all the people that, non-black people be out there too. And it's just a beautiful thing. And I would love
Without a doubt.
for mixed races, us to be out there together running
Yeah.
together. I think that was a terrible
Let's
term,
mix it
but
up.
you know what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's definitely talk more about that. How can people stay in touch with you if they would like to do that?
Well, this is my Instagram. What else? I don't have like a huge online presence or anything, but
Who is the Health Brigade for? Because somebody watching may need to know about Health Brigade as a
without a
resource.
doubt. So my email is cking@healthbrigade.org. So anybody is free to reach out to me directly if they want. As far Health Brigade is for, so we're a safety net shelter. We're a free clinic, and yeah, you can find us at healthbrigade.org. We have needle exchange. We have mental health. We have a clinic as well. So.
And you can also go to healthbrigade.com, but they are listed as a resource. If you go to soulriseessentials.com and click on contact us and hit mental health resources, you will be able to see not only Health Brigade, but local resources to Richmond, Virginia for mental health, national and international. But you guys are on that list. And last question, and I'm going to let you go. What do you do? And when I say that, I mean, what do you do to maintain your joy and your mental health? And trans health. Zico wanted me to say that Health Brigade also offers trans health as well. But yes, what do you do, Colin?
To maintain joy.
And your mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So jogging is a big thing for my mental hygiene. So running and exercise. I like to hike. I like to be in nature. I live close to this park called the Whiteness, which is near Pony Pasture. I walk through there and listen to birds a lot when I need some downtime. I love to be at the beach and surf when I can. Reading and educating myself is something that is always needed. And then I zone out a lot, like everyone. Like just try not to doom scroll, but definitely kind of just turn my brain off and binge watch some stuff a lot too, just like we all do. So.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Colin. I'm going to stay on and do a couple more closing announcements, but you are free to hit that X button. Thank you for being a thriver, and thank you for sitting in the soul seat with us.
Thank you so much, Soliel. I'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
That wraps up episode 46 of Soul Seat Conversations. What a wonderful conversation. Again, I just want to say thank you to Colin for saying yes and for believing that his story and his voice and his work needs to be heard. And shout out to all of y'all that are watching live with us. We really appreciate the comments and the interaction. Shout out to Zico. We just said your name like 10 times in this podcast, child. So if y'all are wondering who Zico is, go and watch her episode. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in Soul Seat Conversations, SOL, seat, like you're sitting in a seat, conversations with the letter S on the end, or you can type in Soul Rise Essentials. That is SOL. Okay, get it right. SOL. What up, Barrington? RISE, and then Essentials with the S on the end. Y'all, what a beautiful conversation. If you have a resilience or a mental health or wellness story to share, we would love to hear from you to see if it's a good fit to join our podcast. You can email us at mystory@soulriseessentials.com, or you can go to our website at the top. You can click on contact us and there will be a podcast button, and then you can go through those steps there as well. Listen, I appreciate y'all for being part of the Soul Tribe community. Later this month, we will have an announcement for our 4-year anniversary, and I am so excited to share it with you all. Cannot wait. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this podcast. Remember, if you made it to the end, to leave the sunshine emoji to let us know, or if you are watching the replay, put hashtag replay. Remember to mind your mind, child, and shine your light. I will see y'all next month. Peace.